Well, all right then, Virgo. But underlying energy is you. Knight of Pentacles. This is your card here. I like that for you guys. Considering that this is your energy that we're picking up, and this is about. I feel like this is about what you're committed to, focusing on the details. Not necessarily procrastination, because I don't know any Virgos that procrastinate, but I mean, maybe they did take their time. But the thing is that they're very. This is more quality over quantity. This kind of a night. Underneath here is the lover. So this is, I think, this is about whether or not this is about committing to something. Commitment. The Knight of Pentacles is 100% able to commit to anything and everything, but I do say here that he can procrastinate or take a long time, especially when he's not sure of all the details. He's not really able to see very clearly what's ahead. He likes to take his time and look at it, right? To really reevaluate, right? To evaluate, reevaluate, to make sure that he's not missing anything before he can jump in, before he jumps in at all, and you know, commits to it. Because once he does, he's in it for the long haul. He's committed to it. He's not gonna break that. It's like signing his name to a lease. And he says he's doing something, he's doing it. And that's you guys, right? You guys will say, like, if you guys say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Unless something ultimately has to give, right? And you can't do it, and you have to change it. You're changing your mind, and you're doing it. But there is this like slow behavior that comes up with looking at the details. You have to be slow, right? You have to take your time with it, because you're gonna miss something if you don't take your time. At least if you don't slow down. So there is a slow progress. There's a slow build up. But it's only because somebody's having a little bit of an issue with figuring out whether or not this is something they want to commit to or not. And like I said before, the Knight of Pentacles does not have a problem with committing. It's not like the Knight of Wands. He's not flaky. He doesn't, jump in one minute and say never mind the next second when the things get serious. He's in it for the long haul. But that's why he's so slow, because he wants to be sure whatever he goes into is legitimate. Like he's willing to sit through that for however long it takes to make it happen. Now, your situation here is very interesting. You have Justice here, which does communicate to me that there is maybe contemplation of marriage. And the reason why I say that is because of the Empress and the Lovers. Now, if I had the Four of Wands, I'd be more prone to be like, hell yeah, somebody's getting married, or somebody's something like that. But take that with a very small grain of salt. I don't have all the cards that I like to see here to say that 100%. You know what I'm saying? Justice, honestly, regarding an open reading like this for masses and everything like that, or for people that are watching on YouTube, I give the general kind of message for it, which is pretty much, especially with this being in your current state of being, it's about balancing the scales, right? Not necessarily correcting the wrongs or anything like that, but trying to find the balance in the situation, or really just balancing things out, right? Evening the odds, right? It's just kind of like making sure things kind of sit on on the surface leveled, right? Because you don't really want something that's too high or too low. You want, like, it's an outstanding karmic balance needs to be paid up. It's going to get paid today, right? Because that's what justice. That's how I see justice anyway, right? And justice does it through facts, through figures, and what is true, right? So I feel like there is this kind of balancing situation. Maybe there's a settling or an apology or something that's being, being hashed out and made amends, right, in a way. But I do see that currently in your current state of being, right? Obviously, right? Currently in your current state of being. I do see that justice is saying, like, there is a time of balance going on. There's a time of like some settling or I don't know if this is necessarily divorce. I'm not getting a lot of bad cards from this, So it could be that for some of you guys, it may be that you guys are dealing with a divorce, because we have defensive energy and warrior energy or fighting energy, soldier energy here, which is talking about fighting, right, or being combative. But for those of you that that may not resonate with, then this is just really talking about balancing the scales, finding balance or regaining balance in your current situation, or there's some balancing happening in your life right now, for, karmically, or you're dealing with some sort of karmic situation to readjust the scales in your life, especially in your love life here. Now, what your ideal outcome is the Page of Pentacles. Perhaps you want an offer of some sort of stability, or perhaps here you guys may, want to take some time to really look closely at what it is that you feel is of value to you, right? This is something that this is a student, right? Or taking the time to really look at something and dedicate yourself to something. And I feel like this is perhaps looking closely at details. You want a little bit more time to look at it to make sure this is what you want. But most importantly, not necessarily so. I feel like you want to know what your heart's desire is in a way, or you want to know what's truly, what you value. For some of you guys, you may want to offer something to someone. You may want to give something to someone, or something that you feel is, of value, something that's long term, something that you can commit to, something that someone else can commit to. Or there's some sort of commitment potentially you want to hear. But the thing that's keeping you from being able to get to this desired outcome regarding your relationship, something that's, that you can commit to, something that's an offer, or something that can, that is a little small beginning towards building something long term, well, Two of Pentacles. And I kind of see this as the distraction card in a way, and it's only because this person's, juggling Two Pentacles. In a way, he's weighing out the options, right? Feeling out the weight of each pentacle, figuring out which one is the most valuable to him. But at the same time, these are pentacles, right? They don't actually have weights on them. I mean, they don't have, the amounts on them or anything like that. He's weighing them out. But how does he feel about these, right? Which one is in a way, he's going to try and carry these to the very end. So like which ones does he want, right? Which option does he want? Which ones does he feel valuable? But how does he know which one is valuable if he doesn't look at his emotions in a way, right? Because the water behind the Two of Pentacles is obviously, well, the water behind the person, it represents to me emotions, feelings. Cups, right? It's all feelings, and what's in the cup is water or liquid. So behind this individual is feelings, right? It's how they feel. And the Two of Pentacles is what's of value. It's tangible. It's real. It's physical, right? In a way. It can be. Sometimes, it's just something that is practical. And I feel like there's a practical approach to a certain situation, a practical approach to love, practical approach to how one feels. And it's good to a certain extent to look at the practicality of things. But when it comes to love, it does kind of require one to look at one's feelings. So I feel like with this here, there is this bit of juggling or trying to, maintain or manage some sort of situation, in a sense, while you're trying to figure out what is truly how you truly, what value you have, or not necessarily what value you have, but what values resonate with how you feel about these two cups, or two pentacles rather. Right? It's not looking at your emotions. It's too focused on the practical. How do you feel about these pentacles? You know what I mean? How do you feel about them? Which option is the most valuable to you? And the reason why the Two of Pentacles is even coming up is because of the Seven of Wands. It's because you stand by something. It's because you stand by something, and it's possibly there's somebody that's also either defensive about something. This is juggling two options here, right? Juggling while you figure out what you want to do with it, which one's the value. And I could feel it. I mean, for some of you guys, it could be that since you have two knights here, and the Empress, which is can be a person as well. It could be that there's two people juggling a situation, and there's balance, right? Maybe there's a decision that's having to be made about two people. That's another story, right? And I'm not getting Three of Cups, Three of Swords, or anything like that. See, it's a third-party relationship other than Two of Cups here, which honestly, guys, that's going to resonate with probably very few in between people. But I wanted to throw that out there for those of you that may be watching for your situation like that, okay? But how I'm going to go through and read this though is the Seven of Wands. So somebody is very defensive about what they're about what they stand for, what they're willing to fight for, what their values are, right? This person is standing for something, protecting themselves. Maybe this person is maybe you guys are looking at the practical aspect of a situation because you want to protect your emotions. You don't want to put yourself in harm's way. You want to see where the dedication is before you go ahead and leap into something that actually gets your heart involved, which is understandable, right? So with that being said, your best path to follow is the Knight of Swords. Excuse me. And it's talking about going for it. Just fight for it. Fight for what you believe in. The thing here is, with Justice coming up here, and then the Two of Pentacles, as the blockage for your desired outcome, I feel like this is talking about not just, looking at your emotions and also obviously understanding the value of your emotions, but it's also talking about creating boundaries for yourself, for your relationship, for the person that you're dealing with, right? Putting up some boundaries to protect you, so that way you can proceed to make decisions that you feel are worth your time, worth your effort, and everything like that, right? And I'm not saying that you guys don't have healthy boundaries, but what I am saying that maybe the boundaries do maybe need to be adjusted, changed, reevaluated, so that way you can make the steps that you want to make and still feel protected here, right? Focusing on the self is one of the things too. But the Nine of Swords talks about fighting for your truth, fighting for what you believe in. It can be a bit combative, but it's honestly talking about going for it, gunning it, and really just kind of knowing that you can handle the situation when situations arise. I'm going to go ahead and pull another card for the Knight of Swords as well to see why the Knight of Swords itself is coming up for your best path to follow. Okay, and you guys have the Knight of Swords, the Six of Swords, about transition, moving forward. It's a transition. It's a transition, right? Because you're leaving behind something that's familiar and traveling to a place that's not so familiar, but it leaves open space for prosperity, for things to start anew. So honestly, you're traveling to a new life in a way. When I see the Six of Swords, it's traveling to a new life. Whether this is external, whether this is really happening, or this is internal, right? Leaving some things behind, leaving some values or some thoughts or some beliefs, right? Because that's what swords are: beliefs, thoughts, logic, communication, anything regarding truth behind to find a new truth, right? But you don't ever forget the lessons, the perspective that you have, which is why this person's carrying the swords with them. But you're not going to be associated with where they came from anymore, right? So with the Knight of Swords, it's like charging in with your truth, charging in with your perspective. Whatever you believe, you have that there with you. Have that knowledge of the self or awareness of yourself to be able to put boundaries, healthy boundaries for yourself, to be able to begin to start something new, to be able to start something small, but something that can really build to something awesome. Now, how you feel, guys? You feel excited. For some of you guys, this could be that could be connecting with an ex here, because the Ace of Wands it can be the rekindling of a flame. It can be. It doesn't have to be always. But the Ace of Wands is an exciting new beginning. It's exciting. It's about passion. This is a new beginning regarding how you feel, and it's one that's not only is influenced by how you feel, but requires action. Right? It's going to require action. I feel like you have this urge and this, that this is like truly, like not just exciting, right? But that this is coming from your heart. When the Ace of Wands comes up, this is like passion, creativity, everything that comes from you, right? And I feel like with love, obviously, right? This is taking action on how you feel. So, yeah, this is exciting. But then there's that hesitation, right? What if this person doesn't know how to behave, or not necessarily behave, right? Like, if they can be loyal, if they can commit, am I seeing the right things in this individual? But this is Venus is still in Virgo, okay? She's almost out of it, I think, but she's still in Virgo. So you're looking at the relationship of the other person, like, all right, do they apply? Does it apply? Does it work for me? Do they have some of the same values? Do they have a goal? Like, you're looking at the situation from a very practical sense, but how do you feel about that person? How does that connection feel? Is it exciting? I think it is. Because in your hopes and fears, you have judgment. You know that the decision that you make regarding this relationship is going to change your life. Lovers these two people that meet each other, their lives have never been the same since. Because love is transformative, right? But it's also about being true to the new you that arises from judgment. Right? Because, like, you're not the same person that you were back then, right? You're not the same individual that has been through all those, kissing the frogs, right? You're not the same person. You're totally new and revamped. And this relationship with this person looks like a soulmate connection. Just because you have justice and the love is there. Automatically, I feel like this connection is going to change your life. It's going to change you. But it's not going to be the other person that changes you. It's you that's going to be changing you. Why? Because you're going to be doing something different. You're going to be doing something that is, that shows you that you changed for you. You're doing all of this for yourself. When you get into a relationship, you're not doing it for the other person. You don't ever get into a relationship for the other person. You go into the relationship for yourself. So I feel like with judgment here, like, that's one hell of a transition, or not even transition, this is transformation, right? And call to action. Already talking about action. This is a different approach. This is a different way of how you handle love, especially when it comes to just emotions and looking so practically at a situation. And I feel like, I honestly feel like, although it's kind of scary to kind of go that route, and not really, it's all about based off emotion and not really about what's there. I feel like it's going to show you something about yourself that you probably never even really truly realized or embraced that much. It's going to show this creative and this passionate side of you that truly makes you feel like you're capable of manifesting anything. Empress in the outcome, right? I feel like in the outcome, you can manifest abundance. You'll manifest something. You'll manifest whatever you want to manifest. You're the creator of your own destiny. Now, with Empress here, this does talk about domestic situation, right? It can be, but it also talks about comfort in a way, stability, because she's comfortable with that. She's always stable. She's in a place of stability. Why? Because she created the abundance around her to make herself stable. Because she attended to what she felt. She knows how she feels. The water, this little, I don't know if y'all see it in the very background here, but there's water here. That's a stream. That's emotions there. She lets her emotions run. She lets her emotions run. She's very patient. And honestly, the Empress is such a beautiful card to get at the outcome, because I really feel like this is showing you guys, or telling you guys here, that there's something beautiful that can be created with this relationship, with you just being in it, with you being so attentive to details. This is also the card for Scorpio, or actually Taurus. This is the card for Scorpio. Pluto is all very transformative. But it's very interesting how you have the opposites here. Jupiter in Scorpio. And then you have Uranus in Taurus. Changing how you... changing your value system. That's what this is all about. So, with all this said, let's go and take a look at your romance angels. Flirt. Wow. And it says, extend your lighthearted energy to others. That's talking about, like, being the ace of wands in a way, right? Having fun, being expressive, taking action. Oh wow, taking action, and this being aware. When it comes to flirting, it has a lot to do with feeling too. Like, you have to feel in order to be able to flirt. Like, if you don't feel anything, flirting is gonna be hard. But I feel like it's more of like talking about entertaining the idea and actually going with how you feel. You're going with how you feel and creating something amazing. Just allowing yourself to enjoy the connection. Right, so let's go ahead and take a look at wow. The whispers of love, and it says, be willing to express love. When we express love, we begin to receive love. And I feel like that's the Knight of Swords. Both of them, actually. Flirt, express your love, communication, guys. The Knight of Swords is communication. The Knight of Swords communicates his truth very bluntly, very openly. He doesn't have a problem with saying something or saying anything. And perhaps maybe the only thing that you guys really need to do is just communicate how you feel. Right? The Knight of Swords is like saying, hey, you know your truth, speak your truth, go for it. You know what you want, you know what your truth is, go for it. Don't worry about this other practical stuff. Just focus on what's going on now. How do you feel? The Knight of Swords, he's impulsive, just like the Knight of Wands. He kind of runs in fast, the Knight of Wands. He's the fast one. I feel like he's the fastest knight. Because he knows the truth and he goes with it. He runs with it. He just goes. Nothing's stopping him. Nothing's keeping him from doing anything. Nothing's keeping him from being able to just express what he wants. And I feel like just allowing yourself to just be, allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to just go with it, you can create so many beautiful things because of your attention to detail, because of what you feel is valuable, and you can connect those two and create those beautiful things. But it all stems from how you feel.